As it has been every game for the last 9 years, Raymond James Stadium is sold out as one of the NFL's great turnaround stories of 2007 looks to sew up a division title. Fox NFL Sunday presents Week 15, the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And welcome to Tampa with J.C. Pearson, Matt Vasgersian. For Tampa, win and they're in. A victory over Atlanta today, and the Buccaneers sew up the South and the NFC for the third time in 6 years. They feel pretty good about their chances today, J.C., because the unquestioned leader of their offense, Jeff Garcia, is back.
Well, John Gruden told us that the biggest difference for this turnaround from last place last year to first place this year has been the quarterback, Jeff Garcia. He's a veteran guy who has a thorough understanding of this complicated Gruden offensive system. But the most impressive thing about Jeff Garcia is he doesn't turn the ball over. He's only thrown 3 interceptions all year long, and that's why Gruden feels very confident and comfortable today that with him back in the lineup, they can get that win they need to clinch the division title.
Well, for the Atlanta Falcons, it has been an eventful week, so to speak, and they'll try to get past the ridiculousness and the turmoil of the last couple of days with EMMITT Thomas assuming head coaching duties.
Well, everybody that knows EMMITT Thomas is happy for EMMITT Thomas. He's been in the NFL as a player and a coach for a long, long time, and even though he's only the interim head coach right now, it's about time. And he won't come out and say it, but the coaches and the players can sense and feel how excited he is to have this opportunity. They said they've had their best week of practice all year. They're loose, they're relaxed, they're ready to play. And with all the Petrino stuff going on, EMMITT's message was, let's focus and get ready to play this game. They say they are.
We take a look at the UPS leaderboard. UPS, what can Brown do for you? Kickoff when we come back. The Bucs look to sew up the NFC South. Bucs and Falcons are coming up next. Welcome back to Raymond James Stadium in Tampa on an afternoon where much of the NFL is experiencing wind, snow, and sleet. It's a beautiful day for football here in the NFC South. Some notable Bucs injuries prior to kickoff. Jeremy Stevens is serving suspension today. B.J. Askew not starting. In fact, he's inactive because of an ankle issue. And though Ike Hilliard's dinged up with a shoulder problem, he will start this afternoon. But for more on the situation on the Atlanta sidelines, we check in with the third member of our broadcast crew, Chris Devoda.
Well, Matt, chances are before last week you'd never heard the name EMMITT Thomas, despite the fact that every Sunday for the last 40 years he has been a part of this game and has seen it from every vantage point, both as a coach and as a player. A former walk-on, he built a 13-year career in the NFL, playing in 2 Super Bowls. And get this, one of those, the very first one, Super Bowl I. Who else can say that? That's amazing. He then went on to build a great coaching resume, defensive coordinator for 3 different teams before coming to Atlanta, where he's been for the last 6 seasons. And get this, in June, he will be eligible to collect Social Security, the only thing he's collecting right now, the rewards of a lifetime in the NFL, his first game as a head coach.
Well, I've known of EMMITT Thomas for a long time. I played in Kansas City, and his name is up in the stadium in the Ring of Fame. So for 8 years straight, I looked up and saw EMMITT Thomas's name there hanging in the stadium.
And I don't think the Falcons could have made a better decision as far as a figure to galvanize them throughout the rest of the year. Here's Jarius Norwood to start the day for the Falcons as he takes the kick beyond the 15 and no farther. Tripped up by Calvin Pearson, among others, for special teams on the Bucs side. Well, Chris Redmond last week versus New Orleans was making his first start since 2002, but you'd really never know it because he completed a career-best 23 passes for a career-best 298 yards. It looked like he hadn't missed a week.
Yeah, and they are going to expect a lot out of him today, especially with Hugh Jackson taking over the play-calling duties. They're going to change things up offensively just a bit. 1st and 10 for Redmond. Play action on the first play from scrimmage, and his pass is dropped out of the backfield by Ovi Mahaley. Well, nobody really knows what to expect from the Atlanta offense today, JC, because the whole scheme went to Arkansas with Bobby Petrino. Yeah, but I had a chance to talk to Hugh Jackson before the game, and he said they're going to change it up. He's going to put his fingerprint on this offense. They're going to be more aggressive. They're going to throw the ball down the field, look for some reverses, some halfback passes. He said he's going to empty out his playbook today and see if they can get some points on the board.
Warwick Dunn And to work done, the former Buck Pro Bowler is beyond the 20, tackled at the 22-yard line by Kevin Carter. Well, we'll certainly be talking about the coaching turnover and the turmoil that Bobby Petrino left behind as he bolted for Arkansas. But in our meetings with the Falcons yesterday, they're ready to get beyond it. They want to polish up the rest of the season and not only win for EMMITT Thomas, but win for themselves.
For themselves and for the fans of Atlanta. And, you know, of course, they're angry with the way it happened. And it was a very selfish, very cowardly act by Petrino to leave in the fashion that he left in.
On 3rd and 6, Redmond out of the shotgun. He's intercepted. Rondé Barber! Touchdown, Bucs! His franchise record 33rd interception, number 2 of 2007. And on 3 plays from scrimmage, Tampa is on the scoreboard.
And that's what Rondé Barber does best. He's the only cornerback in history that has over 20 interceptions and 20 career sacks. He blitzes the quarterback, he drops in coverage, he intercepts the ball, and he plays that nickel position the best of anybody in the National Football League.
A 29-yard interception touchdown return for the 4-time Pro Bowler. The point after try from Matt Bryant. And Tampa Bay, on one of their patented defensive scores, is on the board a minute into the proceedings today. Well, Rondé Barber's 12th career touchdown has made it a 7-0 Tampa lead before Jeff Garcia and the offense have even set foot on the field. 7-0 Buccaneers. Jarius Norwood is deep once again to receive the kick. Short kick, he takes it at the 10. Beyond the 20 and tackled at the 22-yard line. Will Allen on the special team stop for Tampa.
Well, we go back to that interception for a touchdown. It's just Tampa 2. That's something they're famous for. And Rondé Barber is just going to slide right into the curl lane right there and then just jump the route because he knows he doesn't have anything deep. There's a safety back there. Now he just jumps it and is able to take that all the way to the house. But what he did was confuse Chris Redmond at the snap by lining up way inside that looked like he was blitzing.
Warwick Dunn, the lone back, and the quick pass is caught by Michael Jenkins, who's past the 25.
And the lineup note that we had for this Tampa Bay defense, the producer just didn't get it in quick enough, was they have to score. And John Gruden told us that they've been good defensively. Obviously, they're 3rd overall, but what they haven't done enough of this year is score on defense. They've only done it one time. That was Rondé against Atlanta in Week 11. He said this defense needs to score, and then they come out the first drive today, and they do it.
Don't be surprised if your mic dies in the middle of this telecast.
Just threw him out under the bus.
2nd and 5 for Atlanta. The quick pass to the other side. Norwood is tackled before he can gain a single yard. Barrett Ruud, who has been so outstanding in that middle linebacker spot this year for the Bucs, is there to make the tackle along with Rondé Barber.
And you know, Atlanta, all the players said the right things in our meetings, but you have to think that all this week there's so much distraction going on with Bobby Petrino and what he did, how he left, their feelings. And, you know, you have to think that it's hard for those guys to really focus and get ready to play this game. But they all came out and they said the right things. And we'll see if it gets better for them.
3rd and 7 now. Quick drop from Redmond. He dumps it off to Warwick Dunn, and it's incomplete. The former Buck couldn't hang on. So the Falcons will punt it away, 3 and out. You know, only Kansas City and San Francisco's offense have produced fewer first downs than the Atlanta Falcons. And for a guy that had been heralded as an offensive genius at Louisville, Bobby Petrino came here and couldn't get things to function properly.
And that's another part that made him leaving so bad, is he came in, he changed the entire system, and then he just walks out on those guys. So, you know, it's almost like he wasted a whole year of these guys' career.
Ike Hilliard takes the kick back across the 40 and finally tackled at the 42 by Mike Schneck. Well, Jeff Garcia already has a 7-0 lead, his first series on offense, when we come back. Tampa Bay has an early touchdown lead. Time for Jeff Garcia and the Bucs offense to go to work. Garcia missed the last 2 starts because of a cranky back. Told us in our meetings with him on Friday he feels good and is ready to go here in week 15. 1st and 10 for the Bucs as they start with very good field position. As Lawyer Malloy is there to make the tackle on Ernest Graham after a nifty 5-yard pickup. We mentioned Ernest Graham. It's really been a revolving backfield because of injury, and that means, JC, that credit has to be given to this young Bucs offensive line.
Oh, no question about it, Matt. And today they're the youngest starting offensive line in the entire National Football League. And when we talked to John Wade, who's the center and the 10-year veteran, he said he can't explain why all these young guys have been able to come together and play well. Some lines just mesh quicker than others, and those guys have come together. They're playing well up front.
Graham lines up behind Byron Storer, and it's Graham, the ball carrier, near a 1st down marker before being tackled by Michael Boley.
Going back to that young offensive line, Davin Joseph, Jeremy Trueblood on the right side, those guys got a lot of valuable experience last year, and then they brought in the rookie Aaron Sears at left guard, and then Donald Penn had to step in when Pettigrew got hurt. But the constant there is John Wade. He's the center. He's the guy that makes all the calls up front, gets all those guys on the right page and lets them know who to block, and now they can just go out and play.
3rd and 2. Tampa was just 3 of 13 on 3rd down in their loss last week, but they'll convert on their first opportunity here as Ernest Graham, who's done a little bit of everything this year as the go-to guy, is there on the reception for the 1st down.
And he's a guy that coming into the season, they had Mike Allstott, Cadillac Williams, Michael Pittman, all those guys, and Ernest Graham was kind of behind all those guys, and when they got injured, he was able to step in, take advantage of it. And John Gruden said, he thinks right now that he's probably the best overall back, all-around back they've got on this team.
1st and 10 for Tampa. Anthony Beck, the tight end, in motion. Quick drop. Garcia has to move out of the pocket and finally throw it away. Let's check in for the first time this afternoon with Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Well, guys, the Packers can clutch a 1st-round bye today. First thing they have to do is win. They're on the board first. Ryan Grant, who's been a stud for them lately, gives them a 7-0 lead over the St. Louis Rams. Back to Matt and JC.
Kurt, thanks. Boy, the Packers, who won their last 4 last year, 16-2 over their last 18 games.
Yeah, how about Ryan Grant? He's really come on. Remember, they weren't even running the ball the first few weeks.
Play action, and it's dropped by Joey Galloway. Boy, write that down. You don't say it very often. Galloway had a 44-yard touchdown reception in Tampa's first meeting with Atlanta this year. That's going to be another matchup to watch today. D'Angelo Hall in coverage against Joey Galloway this afternoon. So it'll bring up 3rd and 10 for Tampa. For the season, the Bucs rank in the middle of the pack in the NFL in 3rd down conversions, but again, they really struggled last week in this capacity. It's one of the things that bothered John Gruden throughout the week. Michael Pittman picks up the block out of the backfield, and that one's missed. Coming in a little too hot for the veteran Ike Hilliard.
Yeah, just a little too hard on that quick slant by Ike Hilliard, who's lined up in the slot. But that's kind of their game plan right now offensively, is they want to come out, they want to throw the ball quickly. And when we talked to Garcia, he said that watching video of these corners, D'Angelo Hall, Chris Houston, those guys are playing a little too soft now. They're not as aggressive as they've been in the past, so they're going to try to hit a lot of slants in front of them.
Adam Jennings is deep for Atlanta as the 2005 Pro Bowl punter Josh Bidwell is ready to punt things away. Flags. Did he kick it through the uprights?
No. The ref caught the punt.
Here's Jeff Triplett to clarify the flag.
False start. Number 58, the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Quincy Black guilty of the false start, so Bidwell will back up and punt it again. I don't think the back judge was eligible there.
Did a good job. Got the crowd involved in it. He didn't catch it cleanly, though. He's got to get his feet set, get under the ball. I know the wind is blowing, but he's got to catch that thing cleanly. That's
really a good point today. It is very windy in Tampa. We'll see how that affects the kicking game as Bidwell shanks one out of bounds.
Yeah, I don't think that was the wind.
7-0 Tampa. Gusts of up to 40 miles an hour expected today here in Tampa. And the wind likely didn't play a factor in the shank punt before the break. However, Atlanta will have decent field position to start their third possession of the football game. They take over at the 25 with 9:56 left in the opening quarter. The hand is to Jarius Norwood, who changes directions nicely and crashes forward for a Falcons first down. Well, the Falcons' timeline the last year or so has been distinguished by Jim Morris firing after 3 seasons. Bobby Petrino was brought on January 13th, and then the trouble with Michael Vick in the summer. Atlanta started 1-6, and then Bobby Petrino decided, you know, time to go. I've been here way too long, and he was probably still living in one of those temporary apartments when he bailed for Arkansas. Another big run by Jarius Norwood, still going across midfield and finally taken out of bounds at the 36 by Derek Brooks. Back-to-back rushing first downs, a gain of 29 yards. And Norwood is down.
That would be a big loss for the Falcons. Norwood's their big home run hitter at the running back position, and Hugh Jackson said they wanted to make sure they got him a lot of touches today because, as we've seen the last 2 carries, the guy's very explosive.
And while they attend to Jarius Norwood, will duck away. 7-0 Tampa. Well, he's hobbling, but Jarius Norwood is able to walk off the field under his own power after the first down run.
Yeah, that's a good sign. You can see that right ankle is already heavily taped. He's been dealing with it. Just got tweaked, got twisted up under he and Derek Brooks right there, and just those things are kind of painful. He's been dealing with that ankle for a while.
So Warrick Dunn replaces him in the backfield, picks up a block, and the first down pass is complete inside the 20 to LaRon Robinson. First down Atlanta. An 18-yard pickup for the rookie third-rounder out of Illinois State.
And you know, we can't talk enough about the whole Bobby Petrino stuff and the way it went down. But, you know, not only shame on Bobby Petrino, in my opinion, but shame on the University of Arkansas. They knew that this man was in the midst of a season, and for them to go out and, regardless of who communicated with who, to bring him in and, you know, with 3 games left, I think is shameful.
Warrick Dunn gets it to the 15. You know, we met with Jamal Anderson yesterday, the former Hog, who has really been put in a precarious situation now. As an Arkansas alum and as a current Falcon, he's torn in this thing, but he told us a few things yesterday that surprised us.
Yeah, no question. He said, you know, he's had a lot of phone calls from people in Arkansas. He played with those guys. You know, this is his rookie season. He said he told them that, hey, Petrino is disloyal, and he would not recommend any recruit go and play for Bobby Petrino at the University of Arkansas.
Warrick Dunn stopped for a loss. Barrett Ruud leading the way for Tampa.
And you know, Matt, they can say, oh, well, they needed a coach for recruiting and all. You know, I think you damage your recruiting, because how can you go into the home of a 17, 18-year-old kid, talk to his parents, and they believe you that you are going to be their coach throughout their college career? There's no credibility there.
And it's been a tough spot for Jamal, because he is true to his school, but he does not believe in the decision they've made in choosing a head coach.
And it's not like they were going to go out and get the blue chip 5-star guys anyway.
3rd and 8, meanwhile, for Redmond and the Falcons offense. He steps up in the pocket and is taken down at the line of scrimmage. Javon Hay, and once again, Barrett Ruud for Tampa. You know what else Jamal Williams said that I thought was really interesting? Well, Jamal Anderson, rather. Wouldn't have happened with Frank Broyles there.
Yeah,
that would not have happened. They would not have poached a coach under Frank Broyles' watch.
There's a new athletic director there, and, you know, they don't really have a relationship, meaning he and Jamal Anderson, so he really doesn't know a whole lot about the guy. But like you said, he said it wouldn't have happened if Frank Broyles was there.
And Morton Anderson, the NFL's all-time leading scorer, is good for 33 to make it a 7-3 Tampa lead. Morton Anderson, the timeless wonder, who at the year of his NFL debut in 1982 had 13 of his current teammates not even born yet. He's through for 33 yards to put Atlanta on the scoreboard. The NFL's all-time leading scorer, the Great Dane. 7-3 Tampa. Bucs are set to return the kick with Michael Spurlock. Spurlock past the 20, past the 30. Could it be? Could it be? The great curse has been lifted. There goes Michael Spurlock. And for the first time ever, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have returned to kickoff for a touchdown. Santa Maria.
Look at all the players. Look at the fans. First time in history. There's the special teams coach. He's got tears in his eyes. Look, he's so excited, so happy.
Absolute bedlam on the Tampa Bay sidelines. It took a guy who was signed as an undrafted college quarterback out of Mississippi, playing in his 6th career NFL game, to finally break the curse. There's a challenge flag on the field meanwhile. The PAT was up and good. EMMITT Thomas is standing on the field with the challenge flag at his feet. I'm not sure if he got that flag thrown in time or not, and I'm not sure as to what he's challenging either.
Well, it didn't look like he was close to stepping out of bounds, at least not from up here.
Well, again, a couple of issues here. Did the flag get on the field before the PAT? And if it did, what's he challenging? But nothing's going to take the smile off Michael Spurlock's face right now.
There is no challenge on the play since the flag came after the snap for the try.
They did not, in fact, get the challenge flag down in time, even if they did have a case, which we'll never know.
And here's the kickoff. You're going to see Spurlock just jump out the right side right there, and now it's just a foot race. Not even close, and I don't know what they were trying to challenge, if he in fact stepped out of bounds or not, but no. That's clean.
90 yards. And Michael Spurlock has put himself into Tampa Bay history.
And guys on the Falcons just getting out of their lanes, their coverage lanes, and allowed Spurlock just to jump out on the right side, get down the sideline for a touchdown.
Richard Bisaccia was the first one out on the field, absolutely going nuts. It's 14-0 Tampa, and the offense hasn't scored for the Bucs.
No. And he's saying, hey, that's job security. I was the first guy to get my special teams to return a kickoff for a touchdown ever in franchise history, so he's looking for a pay raise.
That was one of the longest notable NFL droughts in any statistical category that you want to talk about it. And, you know, how many times have you and I been here and we talk about it as soon as the game starts, and you see the little lower third, only team in the NFL not to have a kickoff return for a touchdown, and it all goes away today.
And you know, it had to happen at some point. I'm surprised that it took this long, of course, but it was bound to happen. I'm glad it happened while we were here, able to see it.
Boy, what's next? Maybe the Mets will finally have somebody throw a no-hitter. Adam Jennings is across the 25, and he's taken down at the 28-yard line. Let's check in with Chris Devoda.
Well, as the game continues on the field, it's a game of his own over here on the Tampa Bay sideline. Michael Spurlock sitting by himself on the bench, letting all the players in the team come over to congratulate him. He is relishing in the moment. He knows it's a historical one.
Krista, thanks. And If folks around here didn't know who Michael Spurlock was before week 15 today, again, an undrafted quarterback signed out of Mississippi who's played mostly special teams and he's lined up as a receiver, they're sure going to know who he is from this day forward.
Yeah, he's the return man. Now.
With Warrick Dunn in the backfield, it's Dunn that gets the carry, and the former Buck Pro Bowler is across the 40 for a first down, stopped by Gain Adams after a 15-yard gain.
And you know, Warrick Dunn is one of those guys as they go now to the no huddle. They want to try to change the pace up, and something Hugh Jackson told us, he wants to play faster.
Play action, and Redmond has single coverage down the sidelines with Galloway incomplete. Roddy White, rather. It's Roddy White who was well covered on the play by Philip Buchanan.
And there's Hugh Jackson there getting a chance to call the offensive plays now. And, you know, he's a guy that wants to have some consideration for this head coaching position here. At least wants a chance to interview. He went and interviewed at Duke earlier this week and didn't get that job. But he's another guy that's been around the league for a long time. And if nothing else, he deserves at least an interview.
No gain on the play as Kevin Carter makes the tackle. Well, it didn't take too long, you know, after the rather abrupt resignation turned in by the former Falcons head coach, for folks to start speculating over names for 2008 and beyond.
And there are a lot of names out there. You know, obviously some of the names that come to mind are guys that aren't working right now. You know, Bill Cowher, Marty Schottenheimer, two guys that I played for. Bill Parcells is out there, Mariucci. There are a number of guys that don't have jobs right now that would do well.
Redmond hit as he throws, incomplete, intended for Warrick Dunn. Greg White was there to make the hit for the Bucs. Greg White, one of the great stories of 2007, as the Atlanta offense drops its third pass to bring the punting unit out.
Yeah, you talked about Greg White, not one of, he might be the best story in the National Football League. It's going to take us a while to go through his entire story. We'll definitely get to it, but this kid, you talk about perseverance and overcoming odds and hanging in there and all that stuff. He exemplifies all of it.
Michael Kanan on to punt it to Ike Hilliard at the 21. Hilliard tripped up and taken down at the 27. How about this to start the story? Greg White was delivering pizzas in New Jersey 3 years ago.
And
we talked about Greg White getting into the break, a guy who leads the Tampa Bay defense with 8 sacks. And we mentioned how a few years ago he was delivering pizzas in an '89 Grand Marquis around New Jersey. This was a player who was drafted by the Texans. And as he told us on Friday, he had 4 sacks in a preseason game, thought things were going real well for him. And then he was released. He has bounced around with about half the league on their practice squad. Never felt like he practiced as well as he could, and he's been you know, very self-critical since then, but he has certainly found his star here in Tampa Bay. More on Greg White as we continue. It's Garcia and the offense with Ernest Graham across the 30 to the 35-yard line, a gain of 7 or 8 yards as Keith Brooking makes the stop for Atlanta.
you know, more on Greg White. You know, he also went to Canada, played in Canada, went to the Arena League, and you can see right here, you know, all that. He's got great hands, great explosiveness, good lower body strength and quickness. And the thing about him is he's just having fun. He said, I finally found a home. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying myself, and life is good right now. And you can see all the fun that he has. He comes out pregame. He doesn't even warm up. He just sits over there on the bench and laughs.
Ernest Graham has the first down. He's to the 40 after a 5-yard gain. Well, he led NFL Europe in sacks and then came back here stateside and was playing in the Arena League. And that's where Jay Gruden, John Gruden's brother, kept harassing his brother and saying, John, you got to give this guy a try. Well, as it turns out, Greg White was here on the practice squad in 2002, yet nobody remembered that.
He was here for a month, and Monty Kiffin, the defensive coordinator, he was like, you're kidding me, you were here? I don't even remember you. So that shows you how much attention they pay to practice squad players. But Greg White persevered. He hung in there, man, and now he's doing a great job.
This is Michael Pittman, who's playing today despite the chirpy ankle, a gain of a couple of yards up to the 42. Yeah, in fact, Brian Kelly had a bet with Greg White. He was going to bet him an entire game's paycheck that he was not on the practice squad in 2002 because nobody remembered it.
Nobody remembered it. And you know, the other thing is he didn't come into camp until 10 days after camp. It took Jay Gruden to call him, then John Gruden called him, then Monty Kiffin called him, had to talk him into coming to try out for the team. How about that? And he said, hey, you know, I was happy where I was, and he comes here, and now he's leading the team in sacks.
2nd and 8 into traffic, and flags are all over the field. Intended for Galloway. Again, that's the matchup we were watching. Galloway and Hall. Chris Crocker came in to help, and we'll see who is guilty of the penalty.
Pass interference, number 25 in the defense. Automatic first down.
Yeah, it is called on the free safety, Chris Crocker.
See right here, Joey Galloway's just going to come up. He's going to run this crossing route, this dig route right here. Crocker's just going to get there just a little bit too early, but that's something that Joey Galloway is doing a much better job of this year, and that's running the inside routes, the slants, the digs, the short crossers. Normally, in the past, he's just been a vertical guy. I'm going to run the deep post and the nines, but he's really expanded his game.
Garcia fakes the pitch to Graham and can't get out of harm's way. Chauncey Davis, the third-year man out of Florida State, is there to make the sack, a loss of 5.
That's a good job of just doing his job, minding his business. Watch right here, he's just going to come up the field. He's not going to get sold on the play-action fake and get sucked inside. He's going to get up the field, do his job, which is contain the quarterback, and comes up with the big sack. And, you know, defensively for the Falcons, there isn't any change without Petrino here. They said that he didn't even come to the defensive meetings, never talked to him. So Mike Zimmer's been their guy. He's still here, so there's no changes for them on defense.
Ernest Graham back to the original line of scrimmage, a gain of 5.
There's Mike Zimmer there. He's been the defensive coordinator all year long, and he and Emmitt Thomas are the guys that kind of handled the defense the entire year. Now, the only change that might happen is some of the zone traps and some of the things that Petrino wanted them to run. They said, we're not going to run those things. We're going to run what we feel like we do best, but scheme-wise, they're not going to be much different. They're going to play a lot of cover 2 like we see right now and try to get after the quarterback with pressure.
3rd and 11. Garcia's pass is caught shy of a first down. Joey Galloway makes the reception, his first of the afternoon. And it looks like the Bucs have decided to keep the offense on the field. Boy, they really reached a seminal moment a few weeks ago against New Orleans when John Gruden decided to go for it on 4th and 1 against the Saints. And, of course, Tampa would go on to convert. And that might be the moment that the Bucs look back on when they're into their playoff run and say that's when things officially turned around.
Right, and you can go for it here. You're up 14-3. If you don't get it, they get the ball on their own 33-yard line. So there's not a lot of risk here for the Buccaneers.
On 4th and 4, first down Tampa. And another 4th down conversion pays off. Well, let's take you back to Week 13, the aforementioned game with New Orleans. Trailing by 3 at the 28. They decide not to go for the tie. They convert on 4th and 1. The drive eventually ends with the game-winning 4-yard TD pass to Jeremy Stevens, and the Bucs win it 27-23.
Yeah, and John Wade, the center, told us that was the gutsiest 4th down call that he's ever been associated with, but he wasn't even on the field. The 10-year vet said the only plays that he's missed this year are the 4 plays right there in that drive because he cramped up.
Well, it's the defense and special teams doing all the scoring for Tampa so far today, the end of the first quarter. Bucs 14, Falcons 3. Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages. Well, we move past a rather eventful opening quarter here at Raymond James Stadium this afternoon. Rondé Barber with an interception return for a touchdown, and on the 1,865th kickoff return in Bucs history, they break one into the end zone for the first time ever. Tampa's on the move in Atlanta territory. This is Ernest Graham breaking tackles as per usual and stopped at the 21-yard line. In just a few weeks, the All-State Bull Bash comes to Fox, beginning with the AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic, followed by the All-State Sugar Bowl, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, the FedEx Orange Bowl, and concluding with the All-State BCS National Championship game between LSU and Ohio State. The All-State Bowl Bash begins New Year's Day only on Fox. Michael Clayton inside the 20 as we check in with Chris Devoto.
Well, guys, in this game, we have representatives from both of the national championship teams, the teams playing for the national championship, LSU and Ohio State. Joey Galloway, an Ohio State alum, he says they're going to win, and he said a score, 27-19. Now, meanwhile, Todd McClure, the center for the Falcons, he wasn't going to give a score, but he said we're going to win. The Tigers will win because of our team speed. We'll have to see what happens there.
Krista, thanks. We were talking about the same stuff last year this time, talking about Joey Galloway and the Ohio State Buckeyes with a chance at the national championship. Garcia's pass is good for a first down. Michael Pittman is there inside the 15, a gain of 10. Of course, you can see the All-State BCS National Championship game here on Fox, January 7th. You know, that month between the end of the college football regular season and the beginning of the Bowl Bash, it's been a rather eventful month in college football. Rich Rodriguez and the West Virginia Mountaineers, I mean, who knows if he'll be around to coach them in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, January 2nd. He's a candidate in Michigan, of course, as we know. Ernest Graham takes the carry, tackled at the 10. Ernest Graham has been Tampa's bell cow, and a guy that John Gruden has fallen in fast love with. In fact, Coach Gruden told us on Friday that his father, who is a consultant with the Bucs, has been on him for years. Get the ball to Ernest Graham, as they do here on 2nd and 6 as he pushes a pile near the first down marker.
And they go no huddle there, just trying to not allow the Falcons to substitute. Now that they're in their short yardage goal line package, they want to try to make sure that they can get the plays run before they can substitute and match up personnel. Ernest Graham, again, this is what he does best, too. He just keeps those legs driving. You see, just driving, pushes the pile forward for an extra 2-3 yards. And not only is he a strong runner inside, he can bounce it outside, but he catches the ball out of the backfield as well.
3rd and 2 for the Bucs. Garcia with the quick drop. Here comes the pressure, and down he goes. John Abraham with his team-leading 8th sack of the season.
And I think he wasn't sure if Garcia still had the ball or not. That's why he kind of pulled off of him, but beat Donald Penn in their first game. You see, he's just going to come off, and Penn tries to cut him, but Garcia doesn't get rid of the ball. That's Garcia's fault right there. He's got to know on that quick 3-step drop that ball's got to be gone. Penn doesn't do a good job of chopping Abraham. He gets there.
This will be a 33-yard drive for Matt Bryant. And the kick is up and good to make it 17-3 Tampa. A slow start for Jeff Garcia, but the Bucs are on top by 2 touchdowns. Teams are still alive for the postseason in the NFC. Dallas, Green Bay, Seattle, they've already clinched their divisions. Tampa can clinch with a win this afternoon. Now, Minnesota might be the hottest team of the group. They play Monday night as they're trying to enter the big dance via the wild card. Adam Jennings takes the kick around the 20 and bumped out of bounds at the 34-yard line by Will Allen. We got a flag on the field as well on the kick return.
During the return, holding, return team, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, Emmitt Thomas marched back 10 yards when we come back. .16 left in the half. Tampa Bay on top 17-3 on a field goal, a defensive score, and a 90-yard kickoff return for touchdown. The first ever in Tampa Bay history. Chris Redman and the Falcons offense begin things after the penalty on the kickoff. Jarius Norwood back on the field. He's the ball carrier on 1st and 10, and Jarius Norwood with another big run from scrimmage for an Atlanta first down. A guy who's used to big runs from scrimmage every Sunday. Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Well, while you guys are enjoying the Sunshine State, this is what it looks like in Cleveland. I don't know if Buffalo punter Brian Moorman lost that in the snow or what. He just kicks it through the end zone for a safety. And the Browns in the game they need to win lead it 5-0 in the second. Back to warm Tampa, Matt and JC.
Kurt, thanks. Nobody complaining down here. Not after we get a look at that. Norwood once again. Good for another 5-yard run before being tackled by Barrett Ruud.
You know, this Atlanta offense has been pretty conservative, pretty basic so far in this game. You know, I was expecting something completely different. Hugh Jackson told us he was going to pull out all the stops, run the reverses early, and maybe a halfback pass and do some gadget stuff. We haven't seen any of that yet.
Norwood 5 carries for 53 yards. Here he is again. And taken down shy of the 40 by Barrett Ruud once more. But Jarius Norwood is already off to a better start than in Atlanta's last meeting with Tampa when he was held to a season-low 4 yards on only a couple of carries.
And he's a guy that needs a lot of space to get going. That's where he's at his best. He's not a guy that's going to pound it, and make those tough yards. He's a guy, kind of a scat back that can jump through a seam and then has the speed to take it the distance from there.
3rd and 3 for Atlanta. Pass incomplete, intended for Roddy White.
This Tampa Bay defense, they're tough to throw against. They're 4th in the league, passing yards given up. You know, they haven't played as much Tampa 2 this year as they have in the past, and that's because they didn't have a lot of rush up front. But now as that rush is developed, now they're back to playing that Tampa 2, and it's tough to throw against.
So Michael Kanan comes on to punt it away. Ike Hilliard at the 19. And Hilliard down at the 27-yard line as Tony Taylor makes the special team stop for Atlanta. A reminder to stay with us here on Fox for the second game in our doubleheader, the Eagles and Cowboys. That's coming up next. Game 2 of the doubleheader right here on Fox. And Mike Allstott, watching from the sidelines today, knows that Dallas can clinch at least a first-round bye with a win, even if Green Bay wins. And the Packers are currently tied with the Rams.
You think he knows all that?
I think he's paying close attention to all the races. 1st and 10. And the pitch to Ernest Graham. Tackled by Stephen Nicholas after another 4-yard gain.
You know, it's good that they've got Michael Pittman back, because Gruden had told us that he knows that he's overworked Ernest Graham lately. You know, he's averaged 23 touches a game the last few weeks. And he said he didn't have any option. You know, they traded for Michael Bennett earlier in the year, but said there's too much terminology, too much stuff for Michael Bennett to really play. And with Pittman's injury, it's been tough to give Ernest Graham a blow. But now they've got Pittman back. It's a good thing.
2nd and 6. Play action. Garcia steps up in the pocket and has a man, but the pass is dropped. Alex Smith is claiming that he was interfered with. Lawyer Malloy had the coverage for Atlanta. It's the 3rd drop by the Bucs this afternoon.
Lawyer Malloy, one of the leaders on this defense, just playing man coverage on Alex Smith. He reads that cross, so he just beats him to the spot. He's able to get in there and knock that ball away. And Alex Smith has got to use that big body, try to shield Lawyer away.
5-6.
Michael Pittman in the backfield with Garcia on 3rd and 6. Out of his preferred shotgun. 1st down, Tampa. Michael Clayton, oh, where have you been these last 2 years? An 11-yard gain for Tampa, and again, another Bucs 1st down.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people are asking is, what's happened to Michael Clayton? Where's he been? And, you know, he had a great rookie season and then had a knee injury, had surgery in the offseason, and he's kind of disappeared from there. I talked to him last night at the hotel, and he said he's ready to go. He finally is going to get a chance today with Ike Hilliard banged up. He said he's ready to get back to his old form.
2.5 years since his rookie season, he hasn't totaled the productivity of 2004. Michael Pittman, the ball carrier, and he is met for a loss by big Jonathan Babineau.
This Atlanta defense is playing pretty well. Obviously, if you take away that kickoff return, they've given up 10 points, which for them is good. And their offense hasn't put them in bad position today by turning the ball over as of yet. Those guys said they want to come out and play hard. There was a perception that they had quit playing because of Bobby Petrino, and D'Angelo Hall said, hey, we play hard every week. We're going to play hard because this is a business. It's their livelihood on the line every week, so they're going to play hard. They just want to play a little harder today.
Swing pass out of the backfield. Look at Ernest Graham go. About a yard shy of a first down, a pickup of 12 as Lawyer Malloy and Keith Brooking combine on the tackle.
I talked about D'Angelo Hall and Lawyer Malloy also. Those are the kind of the two vocal guys on defense, and they said they want to come out, they want to play hard, they want to play well, not only for themselves but for the coaching staff and the fans of Atlanta. But they said that the one thing they wanted to clear up was the perception that they had quit. Like, they don't do that. They're competitors. They're going to play because, again, it's their job.
Atlanta showing a lot of people up front. Here comes the blitz. Garcia gets the pass away, and it's incomplete. Boy, with all those people rushing the passer, he had single coverage D'Angelo Hall on Joey Galloway, but the Bucs couldn't make it happen, and they'll have to punt here on 4th down.
Yeah, that was a great job by D'Angelo. Just zero coverage, no help anywhere. The blitz is coming, and D'Angelo, look at him come underneath and knock that ball away. Most guys in that situation, they're going to play conservative. They're going to stay on top of the receiver, just try to make the tackle, but D'Angelo comes under and almost makes a spectacular play.
So Atlanta's defense stops the Bucs 6 plays into the drive. Josh Bidwell punts it away. No fair catch called for, and the ball's out. It looks like Atlanta has recovered. Chris Houston was there to fall on it for the Falcons and avoid a disaster in the second quarter. D'Angelo Hall and Lawyer Malloy, a couple of those that were most vocal in their opposition to Bobby Petrino's brief tenure. And they told us in our meetings with them yesterday, guess what? We were right.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to say I was right, but I was right.
Jarius Norwood in the backfield with Redmond, 1st and 10. As the Falcons start the drive at their own 12-yard line. This is Norwood. With Mahaley throwing a block in front of him, didn't matter. No gain on the play.
We talked to those guys, and we asked them about who do you want to come in here and be the coach, and what kind of characteristics are you looking for? And both of those guys said Bill Cowher. They wanted Bill Cowher. They threw out Steve Mariucci and some of those other guys, but I think Bill Cowher would be great. I played for him. Kansas City was my coordinator. He's won a Super Bowl in Pittsburgh. And, he's a great coach. I think he's a better coach than a studio guy now. But,
Redmond's dump off is incomplete, intended for Norwood.
And, I say that Bill Cowher is a better coach than he is in the studio. And he probably would say that I'm better up in the booth than I was playing on the field. So, Cowher's a good friend. Respect him. I think he is a fantastic coach, and no team can go wrong with a guy like Bill Cowher. But there are a number of other names out there, as we talked about earlier, that could be good candidates. Marty Schottenheimer, or Parcells and Mariucci. There are a number of different ways that this team could go.
3rd and 9 for the Falcons after their 4th drop of the half. And Redmond's down, the ball's out. Tampa Bay recovers. The Bucs will take over at the 6-yard line.
And guess who?
Big Greg White. White and Adams had the pressure, and it looked like Javon Hay was the one that bounced on the football.
And again, like I said earlier, this front 4 now is able to get to the quarterback on its own. That allows the other 7 guys to play into coverage. It makes the quarterback have to hold on to the ball even longer. And here's Gaines Adams. He just comes around Tyson Claybo, and you can see Redmond is just holding the ball, trying to find a guy down the field, and that rush just comes. Look how long he's holding the ball, trying to find a receiver among those 7 defenders that are dropping, and Gaines Adams just comes right around Claybo and knocks the ball away.
In Tampa's last meeting with Atlanta, 4 sacks, 4 turnovers, and it really was never close. They're off to the same kind of start, led by the defense again today. So first and goal from the 6, Ernest Graham. Maybe a yard on the play. Boy, this is vintage Tampa Bay Bucs success over John Gruden the past couple of years. The defense forcing turnovers, the defense scoring, and the offense really has to do very little lifting.
And that's the way that they play. That's Buccaneers football, and last year defensively they kind of got away from that.
Second and goal from the 5. And Graham again is inside the 5, moving a pile down to the 2-yard line, and flags are all over the place. Wow! And they're still going at it. All kinds call in the cavalry. The officials are out of flags.
Yeah, you got to maintain your poise. This situation, there was a late hit, and then it was over, and then guys kept going after it. And now instead of what looked like was going to be a late hit on D'Angelo Hall, now it's probably going to be offsetting, because now the Buccaneers players, they all jumped in it. Now there's another flag thrown, and you just got to keep your composure, keep your poise. Football is an emotional, intense game, but you got to be smart.
And it might take a while to sort this one out.
D'Angelo's the guy that came in first that was late. And if we look at the replay, watch D'Angelo Hall come in here late. Right there, he comes in and gets a shot, and then now at the end, here he comes right here, and you can see that now the ref is going to pull him off. He's going to fall on the ground, and then
there are 2 fouls on the play. After the play is over, personal foul, number 98 of the defense. Unnecessary roughness, fouling into the pile. That penalty is declined. After the play, personal foul, number 21 of the defense. Fouling into the pile after the play is over. That penalty is accepted. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Well, we didn't see Jamal Anderson's penalty. We sure saw the late hit by D'Angelo Hall on Jeremy Trueblood. They're both charged to Atlanta.
Yeah, and then after that, though, it continued. After D'Angelo Hall was knocked to the ground, you can see here, and this was definitely late. No question about that. And then he goes to the ground, but then watch the Buccaneer guys come right back on it.
The ref took him down.
So, I mean, there's got to be a penalty there. There's no question about the first one, but they always say the second guy gets caught too, and it just continued on from there.
That was a pretty impressive takedown by the umpire. Jim Quirk grabbed him by the horse collar.
That's a penalty too. That's another penalty they didn't call.
Flag on the umpire. After the emotion, a first and goal for Tampa. Graham, touchdown Bucs. And Ernest Graham has just set a Tampa Bay record in scoring a touchdown in his 6th consecutive game. Ernest Graham, who didn't become the featured back until the first quarter of the season had expired, has more rushing TDs than are on 15 NFL rosters. His 10th of the year. The point after's good, and it is all Tampa Bay at Raymond James Stadium this afternoon. They get inside the red zone, they score, and you hear the cannons here in Tampa.
Yeah, I had a chance before the game to go and shoot those cannons off, and even though I knew it was coming, it was so loud it still scared the you-know-what out of me.
Yeah, I heard you.
You want, yeah. And you even know it's coming. I'm the guy pressing the button, and it still startled me. And those cannons are loud here where we are, but up there it's even louder.
Yeah, it's a good thing you weren't up here or you didn't have audio communication with the booth, because you wouldn't have liked the things we were saying about you when we were trying to work and you were down there playing pirate.
Yeah, and you were jumping way up here in the booth. I was right there doing it, and I still jumped. I mean, those cannons, they are loud.
Well, they've had plenty of opportunity to shoot the cannons off in Tampa here this afternoon. A defensive touchdown, a special team score, and an offensive touchdown, 24-3 Buccaneers.
Yeah, and what you don't want to happen for the Falcons right now is to get back into that, well, here we go again mentality. They've had a tough season, an extremely tough week, and you know, like I said, I'm sure it was hard for those guys to focus and not making any excuses, but you know, we definitely want to see the effort continue from that team, and hopefully they'll do that for EMMITT Thomas.
After the turnover, 3 plays, 6 yards, a minute 6 the time of that brief drive. 4:09 left in the half. There was so much emotion at the start of this one, with Tampa trying to clinch the division, Atlanta trying to make a statement.
Pooch kick.
And the pooch pops off an Atlanta defender. It looks like the Bucs have recovered. Jermaine Phillips was near the football for Tampa. There's more scuffling on the sideline. Well, this has really turned into a brawl.
Yeah, look at that. They just got to control themselves. They're down there throwing points. There is no reason for a Buccaneer player to be in all of that. You're up 24-3. You're trying to clinch the division title. Get out of there. Get out of there. Keep your poise. Don't even fall into all that. You know that the Falcons are emotional. There's a lot of things going on with those guys. They can't fall into that trap.
And through all this, we still don't know who has the football.
The result of the play is the recovery by Tampa Bay, 1st and 10. After the play is over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 54, Tampa Bay. Also, personal foul, unnecessary roughness against Atlanta, number 51, coming off the bench. Those penalties will offset. 1st and 10, Tampa Bay.
You know, Jeff Triplett has turned into a boxing official here this afternoon, trying to score punches as the offsetting penalties result in no penalty at all, and Tampa Bay recovers the kick.
Yeah, just that surprise pooch kick caught Atlanta off guard. They were able to recover that fumble, but you know, both of these teams right now, the coaches, John Gruden and EMMITT Thomas, need to tell their guys, hey, let's go out and let's play football. There's a lot on the line. There's a lot at stake. Let's go play football, and let's cut out all the unnecessary dumb stuff.
1st and 10, great field position for Tampa. They begin the drive at the 44 with Ernest Graham. And Graham gains a couple as he's taken down at the 45. Clock running under 4 minutes in the half. Again, but getting back to the emotion of this one, you know, Tampa playing for that obvious carrot, the postseason. Atlanta playing for really pride, and not just personal pride in the midst of a losing season. The Falcons, to a man, would love to make a statement in the remaining 3 games that the thing that was wrong with this team was Bobby Petrino.
No question. And you got to believe that is partly true. You know, and he's come in, he's changed the schemes offensively, defensively, and those guys were buying into it.
And Garcia's pass is incomplete. Flag. And they're going to say D'Angelo Hall hit Joey Galloway while the ball was in the air. D'Angelo Hall is indignant
Pass
today.
interference, number 21 of the defense. First down.
And, you know, and what he's saying is, hey, well, just call it all you want. You know, that they called a number of pass interference penalties already. You see right here, just playing in the slot on Joey Galloway. He drives back. And that's a close call. That's a tough call right there. You know, he does get there just a shy early, which is a good call. Then that makes it pass interference. But, you know, right now, if you're the Atlanta Falcons, you're saying that everybody's against them right now, and that's kind of what they're feeling. All the calls have been going against them.
Tampa Bay has spent a timeout the first of the half. Well, a reminder that Fox's football coverage doesn't end when the games are over. Afterwards, stick around for the OT. Kurt, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy have exclusive interviews, extended highlights, and a look ahead to next week's action. The OT presented by Lowe's, coming up right after the late games, only on Fox.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome University of Florida Heisman Trophy winner, Tim Tebow.
3 penalties for 42 yards charged to the Falcons. That emotion continues here at Raymond James Stadium as Tim Tebow is introduced over the public address system, and you can hear the mixed reaction to a guy that wears a polarizing jersey here in this part of the state. The Heisman Award-winning quarterback
Somewhere up there in one of those boxes.
So after another penalty marker, Tampa had 12 men on the field. Play will resume.
Yeah, there's Tim Tebow, and you get a shot of that right hand. That cast was removed. He was able to practice everything, and that was a big question, was if that right hand was going to bother him.
This guy's an animal. Ernest Graham takes the pitch and gets across to 45. 13 carries for Graham. 49 yards in this first half. Already been a record-setting performance for a couple of Bucs. Ernest Graham with rushing TDs in 6 straight, a franchise record. And of course, Michael Spurlock with the 90-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, the first ever in Bucs history. 2nd and 14. Pass is caught by the tight end, Anthony Beck. And Beck gets it to the 35, a 9-yard gain. Well, the Tampa defense set the tone today, and they were on the board a minute into the football game on the Rondé Barber interception return for touchdown. A special team score. The offense has contributed, and we've reached the 2-minute warning in Tampa. First halves from around the National Football League. That's the Visa halftime report coming up in a few minutes. 3rd and 5 here for Tampa. And Garcia's 3rd down pass is caught by Michael Clayton for a first down. Well, with Ike Hilliard nicked up on that shoulder injury, Michael Clayton has played a more prominent role, and he's had some success here this afternoon.
And he's going to have some opportunities because they're going to roll their coverage to Joey Galloway. They're going to play over the top of Joey Galloway. So the guy on the opposite side today, Michael Clayton, he's got single coverage most of the day, and he has to be able to win, beat Chris Houston. He's done a decent job so far in the first half.
Clock rolling under a minute and a half. 1st and 10, Garcia with a little time. Now he tucks it away and fires again, intercepted by D'Angelo Hall.
Garcia's pass intercepted by number 21, D'Angelo Hall.
Just thrown too late by Jeff Garcia. This is only his 4th interception of the year, only the 2nd game all year that he's thrown an interception in. And see D'Angelo Hall right here. He's playing Joey Galloway outside shade, man to man. And that pump fake by Garcia allowed him to break on the ball. Caught the ball, got 2 feet inbounds, tapped him twice actually, but again, that pump fake by Jeff Garcia, he should have just thrown the ball out of bounds after that.
Get the feeling D'Angelo's not real popular here in Tampa. I mean, they booed him on the penalties, they boo him on the pick. Warwick Dunn in the backfield with Chris Redmond. And the ball's out! Tampa has recovered. Nothing going right for Atlanta this afternoon. On the first play after the interception, Warwick Dunn fumbles, and happy-go-lucky Greg White is in the right place at the right time. More flags on the field now.
And that's going to be celebration by Greg White and Derek Brooks and Gaines Adams down there, but that's Greg White's personality. That's why I kind of chuckled. Because
after the play is over, unsportsmanlike conduct, choreographed celebration by Tampa Bay. That's a 15-yard penalty. First down.
Yeah, I don't know if they choreographed it, but it was actually he and Javon Hay. But, you know, this guy, here he is over there, number 91, just playing the run, just fighting. Actually makes the tackle, forces the fumble, and recovers. Here's the celebration.
Yeah, if that was choreographed, Bob Fosse would have had somebody fired.
That's called having fun, and that's what Greg White told us. He said, man, I'm just having fun. I'm enjoying every day, every minute, because he knows that by him being here, it was just a long shot, and he's enjoying it.
Michael Pittman takes it to the 25. I've always said that if you're going to get the flag thrown at you for celebrating, you better make it count, right? Go like the guy in the Dr. Pepper commercial. Go crazy.
Yeah, jump off the goal post and do the backflip and do all that stuff. I don't know. I think that'll get you kicked out.
Okay.
And a fine.
Garcia's pass on second down, caught by Ernest Graham. He's inside the 15. Check that, it's Michael Pittman. Pittman makes the reception before being tackled by Michael Boley. And it's another Tampa Bay first down. So the Bucs take a timeout with 33 seconds left until half, and it's been a half owned by the Buccaneers. It started with the Rondé Barber interception and touchdown. And then history was made as Michael Spurlock took a kickback 90 yards, the first ever in Bucs franchise history. After the turnover, Graham with his 6th consecutive touchdown scoring game. And those are the cliff notes on a Buccaneer first half.
3 turnovers by the Falcons just absolutely killed them in this first half.
So after the timeout, it'll be first and goal. Check that, first and 10 as they're on the 11-yard line. Ernest Graham in the backfield with Garcia. And Garcia has to throw it away just before he's hit. It was Jamal Anderson applying the pressure and making things rough on Garcia. So second and 10, 28 seconds left. Again, a reminder, the Visa halftime show comes up right after the clock hits 0 in the second quarter. Well, the guys on the pregame show today had plenty to say about the Bobby Petrino situation, as you'd imagine, especially the grumpy old coaches. The only guy that could make Nick Saban look like he's on house arrest, Bobby Petrino. In fact, in case you missed it on the pregame show this afternoon,
a monkey could outpick you, TB. I agree. TB, who you got?
Hey, I've had layovers in Atlanta that lasted longer than Petrino's tenure, huh?
Early bird special, so I'm gonna get you out of here early, all right?
Oh, and that's some. Bobby Petrino will never be able to shake this.
you know, and that's, you reap what you sow, right?
Exactly, and rightfully so. And that's why I think shame on Arkansas. How are they going to be able to get recruits in there that are going to believe in Bobby Petrino? He may be gone mid-season. Who knows?
Going to roll up the carpet and go to the Pac-10 in a couple of years. Pass is complete to Michael Pittman, and he's dropped at the 10-yard line by Lawyer Malloy.
Now they've got to hurry up. The clock is still running. They've got a chance to, got plenty of time to run one more play. Looks like they're going to let it run down and kill the clock.
3rd and 9, down to 5 seconds, and Garcia does in fact spike it with 3 seconds left on the clock as they will summon Matt Bryant to try to put this chip shot through and take a 27-3 lead into the locker room.
Back to that Bobby Petrino deal. Not only did he do the players wrong, what about all the assistant coaches? He's affected all their lives, the equipment guys, the secretaries that work in the art, everybody he's affected. And, it was just a selfish act.
From 28 yards away, Bryant is good as Tampa takes a 24-point lead into the locker room at halftime. That's the end of the half. We'll be right back after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. All right, thanks, guys. You can continue debating the merits of the West Virginia job versus the Michigan job, but here we have a second half of NFL football to play. Back with J.C. Pearson, Matt Vasgersian, and J.C., as we talked about, each team had something to play for today. So far, it's been the Bucs much stronger in the first half.
Yeah, no question. And the problem with the Falcons is obviously they've turned the ball over too much. They've given up 17 points because of those turnovers, and that's really the story of the game. And as you said, emotion-wise, both teams are very emotional for different reasons. Obviously, all the Petrino stuff with Atlanta, they just have to be more disciplined, be more poised. Obviously, they want to do well. They've got to do it in the right way.
Tampa Bay will receive to start the second half, and Michael Spurlock has already made this a rather noteworthy afternoon for the Bucs. Took 31 years, but they finally get a kickoff return for a touchdown, courtesy of the rookie special teams star.
Now he's a star. One kickoff return.
Oh, he is now?
In Tampa, at least, huh?
A bouncer as Spurlock picks it up at the 11. And there will be no 90-yard return here. Let's check in with Chris Devoto.
Well, remember that time you went to the football game and a wrestling match broke out? That's what happened late in that half. Both teams, both coaches addressing that fact. Coach EMMITT Thomas said he has got to talk to his team about being professional. He said, we are a professional football team. We have to start acting like it. He said he went into the locker room not even talking about X's and O's at all. Coach John Gruden echoed those sentiments. He said, it's ridiculous. We will not stand for it. We have got to clean up and play good football this second half. They've been playing great football. They just got to clean it up.
All right, Krista, thanks. 1st and 10 for Tampa as they begin this opening second half drive from inside the 20. Ernest Graham with flags down. Graham is out to the 30. It'll be a first down if the run holds up.
That's going to be a hold.
Holding number 76 to the offense. After this is the goal. First down.
So they get the 10-year veteran, the center, John Wade, on the hold.
And that's not the way you want to start the second half. And, Gruden talked to him about they've got to play better football. They've got to be more poised. And, if they win this game, they win the division. They're going into the playoffs. You want to go into the playoffs with momentum. You want to go in playing your best football. You don't want to have to talk about all the stuff not pertaining to playing the game and, the mental stuff and being poised and disciplined. This team should understand that, and they've got to come out and they've got to just play football, the best football they can play the second half. 1st
and 19 now. Ernest Graham right up the middle and taken down at the 18-yard line. Well, your first half stats, the big one that jumps out at you is turnovers. 3 of them committed by Atlanta.
And then also the time of possession, and that also goes with turnovers. Look at Atlanta on 3rd down, 0 for 6, so they can't even sustain drives and keep the ball, and then they turn it over as well. It just wasn't a good first half.
And for the latest in fantasy stats, log on to foxsports.com or NFL.com. 2nd and 11. The pitch back to Ernest Graham. Really getting his work today, and Graham is ridden down at the 25 by Keith Brooking. A gain of 7. but shy of the first down.
You know, the fullback, number 44, Byron Storer, getting the chance to play today. B.J. Askew is out with an ankle injury, and Gruden said that's kind of been what's happened to this team all years. Guys that have been able to step up and play. Donald Penn, the left tackle, he's had to step in and play. Ernest Graham has had to step up and play. And just all over this roster, there's backup guys that have had to come in and really contribute. And that's contributed to why they're about to win the division today.
3rd and 4, Alex Smith in motion. Trio of receivers at the top of your screen. Garcia wobbles one that way for Graham. First down, Tampa. Ernest Graham is doing everything today. A 13-yard gain.
Yeah, but a great job by Jeff Garcia just looking the defense off, even all the way to the last second when he knows that he's going to throw the ball to his right to Ernest Graham. He looks everybody off to the left. He pumps fakes with his shoulder and then comes back. And that gives Ernest Graham time to separate over there. You know, just those little things by a quarterback that people don't realize really makes a big, big difference.
Michael Pittman in the back of the eye. And Pittman is the ball carrier. He breaks a tackle and breaks it up to the 44 before being tackled by Lawyer Malloy.
Tackled by Lawyer Malloy.
Well, we're talking about winning the division, and the top 3 on your screen, Dallas, Green Bay, Seattle, they've already clinched. Tampa can clinch with a win today. It seems rather improbable that so many teams are still alive here in Week 15, but New Orleans, Washington, Detroit, who plays in San Diego later today, and Arizona, who's trailing in New Orleans, they've all still got a crack at that wild card.
Yeah, they do, but if the Vikings win out, they control their destiny, so all those teams are still alive, but they're going to need some help.
A first down for Michael Pittman, a gain of 8.
You can see going in at halftime, I'm sure John Gruden talked about, we're just going to come out, we're going to play smash mouth football, we're going to run the ball right down their throats, and that's what they've done in this first drive in the second half, is that they've played more physical up front, pounded the ball inside with Ernest Graham.
It's been pound, 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 and then take a shot. That's been the Gruden philosophy here in Tampa since taking over. And it's really been a successful one, certainly this year.
Yeah, and the guy that they normally take the shots with down the field is Joey Galloway right there off the play action.
Keith Brooking is there to make the stop on Michael Pittman after a 2-yard gain. You know, John Gruden told us on Friday that the big difference is not only that depth in the backfield that you talked about, JC, but the obvious one, the fact that they've got the quarterback. And Jeff Garcia has been a guy on John Gruden's radar for years. In fact, Jeff told us on Friday that one of his first NFL tryouts when he was up in Calgary in the Canadian Football League was for John Gruden in Oakland on a foggy, miserable day. He drove there with his dad, and by his own admission, I didn't have the greatest workout. That's not what I do. You know, he's not a quarterback that's going to go to a combine type environment and wow you with tools. So they passed on Garcia, yet he was a guy that John Gruden always liked, and they finally were able to unite this year.
He said the other problem with that workout there in Oakland was that they had just won the Grey Cup up in Canada, so they had been celebrating for about a month. So he wasn't in exactly tip-top shape to go in there for that workout, and said it definitely wasn't one of his better workouts.
Well, as has been documented here in Tampa, they're both real competitive. They both can be described as moody because of that competitive nature, and they have formed a rather symbiotic working relationship here in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and Garcia, in his 14th year of pro football, counting the Canadian League years, he said he's learned so much this year mentally about the game and how to approach it from John Gruden. They demands a lot from the quarterback position, and Garcia said he's really grown and gotten better.
John Abraham escorted off the field after that last play. Ernest Graham, the ball carrier once again, and he stopped just shy of a first down. A gain of 6 for Graham.
Yeah, and Michael Pittman, did you see that block that he laid? He's a guy, and you see those guns on him right there. Not only does he run the ball well, watch him, he's just going to come into your screen. He comes into the backfield. Now watch him, 32, that lead block right there on DeMario Williams. just lays him out.
Michael Pittman watches from the sidelines. Ernest Graham, meanwhile, over 100 all-purpose yards for the afternoon once again. And he'll get the rock once more, another first down. Tampa's rushing game has been such a strength this year again. In fact, their current rushing average of 4.3 yards per carry would be the best in team history should it hold up through the end of the year.
And that's very impressive, but then when you factor in this young offensive line and the fact that they lost Allstott, lost Cadillac Williams, Pittman's been banged up in and out, and they're down to their fourth running back in Ernest Graham. That makes that number that much more impressive.
1st and 10 from the 37. It's the 9th play of the drive. And they have kept it predominantly on the ground with Graham. He stopped after a 1-yard gain that time. You can get caught into the trap of looking too far forward, but what about 2008 when you presumably have a healthy Cadillac Williams, when everybody returns to camp and Ernest Graham was the guy that brought you to the postseason the previous year? I can't imagine Graham not getting an opportunity to play a lot next year.
No, and he's taking advantage of his opportunity. Before now, they didn't really know how good of a running back Ernest Graham is. And Gruden's father always told him, you remember the last 4 years, he told him, hey, get this guy in the game. He's your best all-around back. Well, now John Gruden believes it as well, so it'd be tough to get him out of there.
Took him 4 years to listen to his dad.
That's how kids are.
Well, at the start of Week 15, only the San Francisco 49ers had consummated fewer plays or fewer drives of 5 minutes or more. It's been a long one for the Bucs as they have had the ball for over 6 minutes here. And the swing pass is dropped. A rare Joey Galloway drop, but his second this afternoon.
Yeah, and that's unlike Joey Galloway. Maybe he only really likes to catch them when they're deep, huh? Over the top, down the field.
Can't use his breakaway speed on that route.
Yeah, that's
not even a route.
Yeah, that's 2 quick screens that he's dropped today. See, normally the sure-handed guy, maybe D'Angelo Hall is in his head a little bit. He knew D'Angelo was coming up pretty quickly.
So 3rd and 9. They'll shift Michael Pittman out wide now at the top of your screen. And they'll split Anthony back to the bottom. Garcia steps up in the pocket, dumps it off to Ernest Graham. Makes one tackle or miss, but he's wrapped up shy of the first down by Demario Williams, a 4-yard gain. But again, the Bucs will be short of the first down marker. So Josh Bidwell and the punting unit will make their way onto the field. 8:17 left here in the 3rd quarter.
That penalty's declined. 4th down.
But Michael Pittman guilty of the penalty, and Atlanta declines, as you heard Jeff Triplett tell us. So Bidwell will be punting it away to Adam Jennings, who sets up at the 10. An Atlanta offense that has failed to score more than 2 touchdowns in a game all year long is without a touchdown today so far. As Bidwell's punt drops inside the 5, and it's down inside the 10. 27-3 Bucs. Atlanta begins the drive at their own 8-yard line. Their offense responsible for less than 100 yards through a half plus. The hand is to Warrick Dunn, who's already fumbled today. And Dunn makes 2 yards of it before being stopped by Barrett Ruud. Well, Falcons owner and CEO Arthur Blank is here this afternoon. And, he's a guy, JC, who by all accounts is among the most supportive owners in professional sports. And I don't think there was anybody that didn't feel bad about his going on national TV Monday, supporting his coach, giving him the full thumbs up endorsement, and then being completely betrayed 48 hours later.
Yeah, we tried to get him to come and talk to us on the air. He declined to do that, but you got to feel that he and Billy Devaney right there, that's to his right, those guys all were betrayed. There's no other way to say it. You know, they were betrayed, they were lied to, and you know, and where do you go from here? And that's the question we had for him, was who's on the short list that they want to try to bring in here to coach this team.
Emmitt Thomas named head coach on an interim basis just to end the season. Trying to galvanize the Falcons through 3 more weeks of football. Play action, and the pass is intercepted. Jermaine Phillips, his team leading 4th of the year. Well, Chris Redmond's long afternoon continues. Another Falcons turnover. Well, not only has Atlanta turned it over 4 times this afternoon, but their last 3 possessions have resulted in turnovers.
And that's been the problem for the Falcons, is that they put their defense in bad adverse situations, and you know, it's happened all year long.
Ernest Graham has the carry, trying to get around a corner, but taken down by DeMario Williams and company. Let's check in on the Pack via Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Well, let's just keep it rolling to St. Louis, where Brett Favre just lofts it up. Why not? Greg Jennings is this wide open. 44 yards on the score. Favre 182 yards passing in this game, just 2 away from Dan Marino's all-time passing mark to move ahead of Marino on the charts and into #1. Hey, that's easy for me to say, Matt.
Kurt, thanks, and the magic continues for Brett Favre. You know, I was gonna bust your chops about this a lot sooner than week 15.
About what?
About Brett Favre needing to retire. What do you think about the old man now?
Say that.
That's caught by Ernest Graham. Well, when that discussion came up last year, when is Brett Favre going to shut it down? You were one of those that pointed out the fact that they've got this Aaron Rodgers. How much more growing is there to do with Brett Favre? He's really answered that this year.
Why do you want to go back to last year? No, yeah, I did say that, but I think in the majority at that time, because Brett wasn't playing the way that he's playing now. And of course, he's come back this year and he's playing lights out and getting a lot of help from Greg Jennings and Ryan Grant and all those other guys, and obviously the guy can still play, but I think last year I was in the majority in that thinking.
You don't tease it.
Thanks for bringing that up.
I kid because I love you. And a little flip to Byron Storer. So the rookie free agent out of Cal Berkeley, who made his first NFL start this afternoon, gets his name in the newspaper tomorrow. Mike McCarthy, Coach of the Year candidate in the NFC?
Oh, no question. I think the NFL. I think there's nobody that's done a better job out there. And the reason why I say that is because early on, he changed the entire way they play offense. They didn't have a running game going. He said, okay, well, then we're going to switch it up. We're just going to put it all on Brett. And then they developed a running game from there. And now Ryan Grant developed into a good running back, and now they're balanced again.
Matt Bryant has been good from 33 and 28. This is from 34. And he's good from 34 yards away as well. All Tampa in Florida today. Well, among the veterans who are really taking the bad season in Atlanta the hardest is a guy that grew up in Atlanta, Keith Brooking, who's one of the few holdovers in the front office or on the field or anywhere from the Super Bowl team in the Dan Reeves era. You've really got a feel for guys like that who have been lifetime Falcons, who have seen better days.
Yeah, he was pretty outspoken, too, because he was the one that was really buying into Petrino and trying to get everybody else on board.
Adam Jennings takes the kick on a bounce and is out of bounds at the 12. That's where the Atlanta offense will give it another try, down by 27. Well, points off turnovers has been a big storyline for Tampa today. The turnovers have resulted in their last 3 scoring drives, covering a combined 29 yards. Now they're coming up with the ball at the 5 and 10 yard line and punch it in. That one is punched away. The Redmond pass is batted down at the line of scrimmage by big Chris Hovan, the 8-year veteran.
And they just haven't been able to get anything going offensively. You know, we're almost through the end of the third quarter. Chris Redmond still only has 2 completions all day. I mean, that is almost as bad as you can get.
It's a far cry from the 23 of 40 and 300 passing yards last week.
Yeah, and 2 other completions there went to the other team. So I guess he has 4.
2nd and 10 now. Under 4 minutes here in the third quarter. Another one batted away at the line of scrimmage. Both Ryan Sims and Kevin Carter were near the football. It's been a quarterback carousel in Atlanta. First 6 games it was Joey Harrington. And then Byron Leftwich got the chance in game 7. Back to Joey Harrington in games 8 and 9. Back to Leftwich in week 10. Harrington returned in 11 and 12. And then Chris Redmond. 5 starting quarterback changes this season. Redmond out of the shotgun. Dumps it off to Warwick Dunn. Flags are down as Dunn is down at the 25.
You know, you wonder why this offense doesn't have any continuity, any rhythm, and that tells you the story right there in a nutshell. You know, you're switching
downfield on the forward pass. Number 70 of the offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
D'Anthony Batiste, the guilty party for Atlanta.
Yeah, you know, you're switching quarterbacks in and out every other week or so, and just no continuity, no timing with the receivers and things of that nature. And at least one thing that the players said that was positive was they named Redmond the starting quarterback early in the week. Obviously, it hadn't paid off, but at least they cleared that up.
Ike Hilliard begins the return at the 27. There's a flag down as Hilliard is tackled just past the 30-yard line.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 20 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, you know, getting back to the Atlanta situation, there's been so much turnover at quarterback. What happens looking to next year?
Well, you know, there's a lot of holes on this team that they've got to fill, but I think you've got to decide who the quarterback is going to be. Is it going to be Redmond? Is it going to be Leftwich? Joey Harrington? I think a lot of that depends on who eventually ends up as the head coach of this team and what kind of offensive system they want to run. But you've got to look at running back. There, you know, there are a lot of places they can go on this team.
They hand it to Ernest Graham once again, and he's taken down by Demario Williams after a gain of 2 yards. 21 carries for Ernest Graham this afternoon.
Gain of 3.
Joey Harrington had his opportunities. Byron Leftwich. You know, last year, or rather earlier this year, when the Petrino era was still here, the talk was, hey, Brom coming out of Louisville, Petrino's guy in college. It seems that, you know, Brian Brom will not be drafted by the Falcons at this point.
They won't draft anybody that has any ties to Bobby Petrino, and that's not a knock on Brian Brom, but, you know, I think that would just continue to let that Petrino situation linger, and I'm sure they want to try to move beyond that as quickly as possible.
Lawyer Malloy takes down Ernest Graham.
But you got to think, who is their quarterback of the future here for the Falcons? Or do they draft a kid? Do they go out in free agency and sign a guy? And again, like I said, it just depends on what kind of system they get in here. If you're, you know, Bill Cowher, Marty Schottenheimer, a run-oriented type of a coach, well, you know, your number one thing might be, let's go get a big bruising running back.
3rd and 5. The pitch back to Michael Pittman, and he's across the 1st down marker. You know, there's been so much talk in Philly the past couple of years about maybe the Eagles parting company with Donovan McNabb in a trade package. You look at possible destinations if that move were to take place in Chicago, Atlanta. You know, the speculation can drive you nuts because, as you mentioned, we don't know who the head coach is going to be next year.
Exactly. And, you know, they may trade the pick. Who knows? You know, they may get a big defensive stopper. Remember, Petrino got rid of Grady Jackson, who was one of their big run stoppers. That was another big issue. And so there are a number of holes, a number of different ways that this team could go in terms of trying to improve.
1st and 10, Michael Pittman, the ball carrier. And Pittman springs a 7-yard run before being tackled by Kevin Huntley.
And that's the reason why I said maybe a big run stopper inside, because right now they're getting manhandled by the Buccaneers. And nothing fancy. The Buccaneers are just lining up and just kind of physically overpowering the front 7 of the Falcons right now. So that could be another way. Teams win with defense. That's what the adage is. You win with defense. But, right now they've got to get better stopping the run.
Inside of a minute here in the 3rd quarter, 2nd and 3. This is Michael Pittman once again, tackled shy of a 1st down. Let's check in with Chris Devoto.
Well, as this quarter comes to an end, you'll remember at the very first series of this quarter, John Abraham, the big defensive end for the Falcons, was walked off the field. He was nursing a sore left knee. He has since left the game. He will not be back. That is John Abraham, a sore left knee. He was on the bike for a little bit, walking and stretching on the sideline. He has since left and headed to the locker room.
All right, Krista, thanks. And he's been one of the few bright spots for Atlanta all year long, the ex-Jet having another fine season. And that's going to do it for the 3rd quarter. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 1 quarter away from an NFC South title. Coming up next here on Fox, the 2nd half of our doubleheader, the Eagles at the Cowboys. That follows us here in Tampa. The 2nd half of our doubleheader coming up next on Fox. From the NFC all around the country, the bad weather in the east, the bad weather in the north, and the sunshine here in Tampa. Jeff Garcia moving around and throws it away. Well, as it appears Tampa is well en route to an NFC South title, I think it's interesting to note that since realignment in 2002, this is the only division in the NFL to have every team reach the NFC Championship game, and it really has been the most fickle division in football. John Gruden last year winless within the division. This year perfect in the NFC South.
And I think New Orleans has to be one of the most disappointing teams this year.
After that Cinderella season last year, New Orleans has come falling back down to earth as Adam Jennings lets this kick check up, and Tampa will down it at the 6.
By the car you can't ignore, the all-new Chevy Malibu. And by Budweiser. Reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager.
Well, the Bucs have fed off the home crowd this afternoon to the tune of a 30-3 lead here in the 4th quarter. Of course, Tampa fans are hopeful that they'll have a playoff game here at Raymond James coming up in just a few weeks. 1st and 10, Redmond runs the play action, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Roddy White. So it'll bring up 2nd and 10. Games happening elsewhere in the NFL this afternoon. Staying in the state of Florida, Miami has just pulled even with Baltimore in the 4th quarter. They find Roddy White for a modest gain as he's taken out of bounds at the 10. There it is, 13-13, 12:06 left in the 4th, and I don't know if members of the 1976 winless Tampa Bay Bucs are gathered at Leroy Selman's place today or not.
That's a tough one. Jimmy Johnson said that he predicted Miami was going to win today. The studio show. What do you think? Would you like to see him go 0-16?
No, I would not like to see that.
You don't wish that on anyone?
No, that's just, who wants to be remembered for that kind of thing?
History's history.
Just ask the 76 Bucs, right?
Yeah, but at least we're remembered for something.
Redmond gets out of harm's way. He springs himself and loses the football. Atlanta has recovered, however, and they do so to the tune of a first down, as Algie Crumpler was there to fall on it at the 20.
The offense. Half the distance to the goal. Still third down.
Quinn Ojanaka, however, guilty of the penalty. The second-year man out of Syracuse will march the Falcons back. So the holding penalty keeps it third down. 3rd and 12 now. Make it 3rd and 11. Redmond out of the shotgun. Hands it off to Norwood. And Jarius Norwood tackled shy of the first down. You know, getting back to that 76 Bucs team, JC, in this day and age of retro jerseys and teams all over the league wearing the retro uniforms a couple days a year, they haven't done that in Tampa Bay yet. They haven't broken out this sweet orange yet.
Yeah, would you? There's a lot of bad memories associated with those orange uniforms.
I don't know.
Not a lot of good things happen in those uniforms.
I think enough time has passed. Those were just kind of a cool reminder of the 70s.
A cool reminder of the defeated team. Like you just said, you don't wish that on anybody.
John McKay saying things like, well, our problem today was we didn't tackle very well, but we made up for it by missing a lot of blocks.
There you go.
Back with J.C. Pearson and Chris Devoto, Matt Vasgersian. 33 the score here with 12:50 left in the 4th quarter. It's been all Bucs. Tampa shining defensively. Special teams and offense, everything up to snuff today here in Week 15 for Tampa Bay, especially the running game. This is Michael Bennett who gets into the act. A 28-yard run for Michael Bennett.
And he's a guy that's been wanting to get on the field and have some opportunities. He was traded from the Chiefs here and really hadn't had many carries. That was only his 12th carry of the year. You can see he's a quick guy, real fast, and really hasn't had a chance to really earn and win the trust of the coaching staff. And it's hard to do when you come in the middle of the year. You don't know this playbook. You don't know the system, the offense. So he's just been trying to work in practice. And now that they've got a lead, he can get some work in.
A season-long rush for Michael Bennett. Here's Bennett again for another Tampa Bay first down, as that young offensive line of the Bucs is really starting to manhandle the front for the Falcons.
That's what this team has got to do. That's what any team has to do. If you're going into the playoffs, trying to get to the Super Bowl, you have to run the ball. Very few teams can win the Super Bowl by being pass-oriented. You've got to be able to run it. You've got to be able to throw it well also in the way that the rules are set up now, but you have to be able to pound it when you have to do that. And the Buccaneers, with Ernest Graham, and now Pittman is healthy, and now it looks like Michael Bennett, they've got a good trio.
Bucs keep it on the ground. They're inside the 10. You know, so much young talent on that offensive line. Aaron Sears, the rookie second rounder out of Tennessee, played everywhere on the offensive line for the Vols except for center. From Tharptown, Alabama, population 300. They list his home as Russellville, but his actual home is about 15 minutes away from Russellville. Tharptown is so small, they can't even claim that as a hometown for anybody.
What a way to clean that up.
Playing alongside an undrafted rookie. I mean, it's such a great story up front there. 2nd and 4 now. Bennett is taken down inside the 10. Jonathan Babineau makes the stop for Atlanta.
And again, like we talked about early in this game, you know, that offensive line is really the key to this team. John Wade, the guy in the middle, that 10-year vet, playing with a bunch of young guys around him. He's been able to get those guys together, all get on the same and be on the same page with the running backs. He comes to the line of scrimmage, and it's Wade's job to call out the blocking scheme based on what he sees up front, and he's done a good job.
3rd and 2. Garcia hands to Bennett again. Bennett gets inside the 5. Chris Crocker finally stopped him.
And that's what you've got to do, Michael Bennett. If you're complaining about not getting playing time, not getting a chance to prove yourself, when you do have that opportunity, you've got to take advantage of it. You've got to make the coaching staff say, hey, we've got to get this guy in the game. You see what he did when he had some opportunities, and Michael Bennett's had some good runs on this drive, and I'm sure now the coaches are saying, well, hey, maybe we need to get him some more touches.
First and goal for Tampa. They give it to Bennett again, and he is denied the goal line this time. Violent tackle by the rookie Jamal Anderson.
You know, people may not realize that Michael Bennett was a 1,000-yard rusher with the Vikings just a few years ago, and then he was actually signed down in New Orleans and then traded to Kansas City and played behind Larry Johnson, those guys. And then when Priest Holmes came back this year, their backfield was too crowded, and that's when they traded him down here to Tampa Bay. So he's an accomplished running back in this league.
Well, they're going to take him out, denying him an opportunity maybe at just his 2nd touchdown of the year. Michael Pittman takes over. This is Pittman, tried to go over the top, but is dragged down from behind by Jonathan Babineau. Michael Bennett did all the heavy lifting on this drive. 4 carries, 47 yards. He's going to sit on another play on 3rd and goal.
They let him score the touchdown, though. Then he has too good of a day. Then everybody said play him more.
You have to manage your success.
Yeah.
Play action, touchdown, Tampa. The tight end Anthony Becht, his 2nd touchdown reception of the year.
And what a great play fake. Not only by Jeff Garcia, but what about Ernest Grant? Jumping over the pile as though he had the ball, and everybody kind of stopped. They thought he had the ball. Next thing you know, Garcia throws it. Look at this play fake. Great job jumping over. Kind of freezes the defense, and then Garcia just throws the ball outside to Becht. It's wide open. Everybody's kind of looking at each other on that Atlanta defense, wondering what happened.
Matt Bryant for the point after. 37-3 in favor of the Bucs. Pitch and catch. All Tampa at home today. Hey, some celebrities here at Raymond James Stadium. Star of TV's Jackass, Johnny Knoxville. Celebrating an impending NFC South title for the Bucs.
Can't believe you dragged me into that and had me circling.
Thanks for doing that.
You say that.
Thanks for doing that, by the way. A season-high 37 points for Tampa this afternoon as Adam Jennings starts the return from the end zone. Jennings is across the 30 and dropped there by Jermaine Phillips. Guy's going to ride his skateboard right out of the stadium in about 10 minutes. Well, as it looked like John Gruden is on his way to a division title, this would be number 5 in his coaching career, and only Bill Belichick has won more since 2001.
And Tony Dungy there with 4. If they get a win today, then that number will go to 5 as well, right?
That's right. Tony Dungy and the Colts are in Oakland. I don't think I was clear on that sign, I got to tell you. Guy had it out in the rain for a little bit. 1st and 10 for Atlanta. As Chris Redmond hands it off to Warrick Dunn, tackled after a gain of maybe a yard by Ryan Sims. You know what's impressive for John Gruden in terms of his division titles here in Tampa? 3 division titles with 3 different quarterbacks. And as you take a look at the greater NFC playoff picture, you were talking about Tampa Bay maybe in that 4 seed. Seattle's losing. Carolina leads 13-3 with time ticking away in that one. So maybe a chance for Tampa to vault into the 3 seed.
But either way, they'll get a home playoff game.
Ryan Neese makes the stop on Warwick Dunn after a 7-yard gain.
Brought down by Ryan Neese.
So 3rd and 3.
EMMITT. 3rd down 2.
I don't know that you get John Gruden to admit it in even a private moment if this in fact has been his best coaching job since coming here. But there are a lot of folks around the Bucs that feel that's true. Jason Snelling, the ball carrier. And it looks like Snelling is stopped shy of a 1st down.
Yeah, and the reason why people may say that, you see Ryan Sims makes that tackle there. They brought a lot of guys into this team this year that have upgraded them. You know, their depth got much better. Guys that other teams had kind of given up on. Ryan Sims was in Kansas City and his career wasn't going well. They brought him down here to Tampa Bay, and you can see that he's starting to contribute. But you know, they've had guys all over this team that have had to step in, and they've done well.
So Atlanta still without a 3rd down conversion this afternoon, has to punt it away. It'll bounce into the end zone.
62-yard punt.
Game 2 of our doubleheader on Fox coming up. Well, a change of quarterback. We invite you, of course, to stay with us for the Dallas game coming up next. Dallas and Philadelphia from Texas Stadium. Bruce Gradkowski takes over under center for Tampa Bay. And Gradkowski hands it off to Michael Pittman. You know, Coach John Gruden didn't make any bones about it when Jeff Garcia was signed as a free agent. He made Garcia the starter, and he gave Garcia the number that Bruce Gradkowski wore all of last year.
Said he did that before the ink even dried on the contract. Gave him his number and the starting position all right there.
So 2nd and 8 for the 2nd-year man out of Toledo. Michael Pittman breaks through the line. 1st down Tampa as he's taken down at the 40 by Lawyer Malloy. A gain of 18.
You know, we talked in the 1st half, we're at the end of the 1st half, in the beginning of the 3rd quarter, that you know, you want to go into the playoffs playing well and on a roll, and this is the way that they want to play. They want to pound the football, be able to run it, and then work the play action pass down the field to Joey Galloway. And you know, that's the way they want to play offensive football. They kind of got away from that in the 1st half with, you know, all the fights and the pushing and the shoving and the trash talking, but 2nd half they got right back to what they do best.
About 4 minutes remaining on the clock. They hand off to Michael Bennett. He spins forward for a gain of 4, tackled at the 44-yard line. Yeah, the NFC South, as we talked about earlier, has been such a fickle division, maybe the most in the NFL. We talked about how every team in the division has reached the conference championship game, with the Bucs en route to claiming the division this year. This is going to be 5 consecutive years that the division champ in the NFC South finished in last place the previous season. There's hope for the Carolina Panthers, in other words, and the Atlanta Falcons. Michael Bennett, and no gain on that carry as he's taken down at the line of scrimmage. Baltimore and Miami still tied 13 apiece. Miami has the ball inside the 30-yard line, inside of 3 minutes left. I didn't ask you the question. You asked me if I was rooting for Miami today. What about you?
I'd like to see those guys win. I mean, you put so much time and effort into everything that it takes to go out and play this game. It would be good for them, I think, to at least win one.
Michael Bennett with a stutter step move. He's taken down right at the marker by Keith Brooking.
Looks like he's got enough there, too, for the first down.
Indeed, first down, Tampa Bay.
First down, Tampa Bay.
And it looks like that's going to take us into the 2-minute warning. The 21st first down of the afternoon by the Bucs. 2 minutes left in Tampa. All kinds of Gatorade being doused at that Tampa sideline. They just got the special teams coach, Richard Bisaccia. The Jay Glazer lookalike will be wearing the Gatorade into the locker room.
They got Gruden right before that. And, when you win the division, you can see all the smiles. Everybody's happy. All that hard work put into it from the OTAs to training camp to all year long. That's a good feeling when all that hard work pays off for something.
This has been one of the best turnaround stories in the NFL in 2007. You and I were here week 17 last year, JC, and there was talk about John Gruden's job security. There was talk about the direction of the franchise. Folks thought that Mike Allstott was going to ride off into the sunset. My, how things have changed in less than a year.
What have you done for me lately?
This is a replay of John Gruden wearing the cooler. That was all ice. There was no Gatorade in that bucket at all.
Got hit in the head with some blocks of ice, but he'll take that too.
Meanwhile, there's a challenge on the field. The spot is being challenged here by Atlanta. And the officials are trying to get the ice off the field at the same time.
And there's EMMITT Thomas, and you got to, all the players wanted to play well for him. And
after reviewing the play, the runner is down by contact with the ball at the 48.5-yard line, short of the line to gain. Therefore, it is 4th down and 1 for Tampa Bay. Atlanta is not charged a timeout. This is the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, going back to EMMITT, it's tough to be able to step in and make a complete change in just a matter of a couple of days. You can't change schemes because there's not enough time to teach anything else. So he's in a tough situation. And, here's that last play where Michael Bennett was tackled just short of the first down. But again, going back to EMMITT Thomas, he just wants to see effort. And as long as he can get his guys to play hard, that's all they can expect, I think, these last few weeks.
It was refreshing to hear EMMITT Thomas yesterday tell us, he's old school, 65 years old, guy played in Super Bowl I for crying out loud. And he told us, I don't believe in all the fancy X's and O's, not to the degree that a lot of current coaches do. You want to draw up good plays, yeah, as the Bucs have converted on 4th down. You want to draw up good plays. You want to give guys a chance to succeed and use their natural athletic ability. That's his philosophy.
Yeah, and that's from a guy who's played the game. And anybody who's played the game will tell you the same thing. When the system is too complicated and you've got to think too much, it takes away from your aggressiveness. And now you're wondering, so you're not playing full speed. And, he understands that. He said he wants to get these young men in a position where they can just go out and let their natural athletic ability show through their play on the field.
Well, in what was a statement game for Atlanta, they had all kinds of motivation today. That motivation and that emotion fails them as the Tampa Bay Bucs, playing for the big picture and a division title, will walk out of the stadium today NFC South champs for 2007.
And as a player, you're excited to get to the playoffs because you know at the end of the playoffs, if you can get that far, is the Super Bowl, but also playoff checks. They're always excited to get those playoff checks.
Seattle has lost in Carolina today. So Seattle falls to 9-5. Tampa Bay at 9-5. And there's this little matter of the third seed in the NFC waiting to be determined. Regardless, it looks pretty good that the Bucs are going to have a home game in the postseason. Rondé Barber started the afternoon with the interception and return on the very first series. Michael Spurlock added a bit of franchise history. A 90-yard kickoff return, the first ever for the Tampa Bay Bucs in 31 years of football. It's been a busy day elsewhere in football as well. Miami has just taken a lead in the fourth quarter. For J.C. Pearson and Chris Devoto, this is Matt Vasgersian saying so long from Tampa, where the final score, Buccaneers 37, Atlanta 3. We now